Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
We're so glad you're here today. Thank you for joining us on the College Investor Audio Show as we talk about understanding borrower defense to repayment for student loans. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. A credit union that offers Bitcoin? Give me 5. For a limited time only, get $5 of free Bitcoin through the Southland Credit Union app. Enrollment is quick and easy. There's no hidden fees, and you can conveniently fund Bitcoin purchases directly from a Southland account. Claim your free Bitcoin today by going to thecollegeinvestor.com/Southland. Bitcoin accounts and services provided by NYDIG. Not NCUA insured. Restrictions apply to Bitcoin bonus. See terms. And don't forget to check out thecollegeinvestor.com/Southland to sign up. So we know that student loans affect millions of Americans, many of whom struggle to make their payments every month. Besides income-based repayment options and refinancing, there are a few options for those barely squeezing by. However, one that is rarely discussed but still applies to some borrowers is student loan discharge. Discharging student loans is still kind of a fuzzy concept for many, and it sounds like it's too good to be true, but it can be a reality for those who qualify. It's a complicated process and might require the help of a lawyer or someone with direct experience. In fact, the Department of Education just clarified the rules last month to help borrowers understand how this process works. So, the Biden administration has been expediting borrower defense to repayment claims over the last few months, and you can see more and learn how to get help if you were defrauded by your college at thecollegeinvestor.com. So here's how borrower defense to repayment works. It involves proving that the university or college actually deceived the student in some way that involved them taking out student loans. It's interesting. If a university defrauded a student in a manner that led to the student taking out loans, he or she may be a good candidate to have their loans discharged. Some examples of fraud include falsifying job placement figures, maybe the total school costs, successful credit transfer records, and what kinds of degree programs would be offered. That's part of what happened to students who attended Corinthian colleges, a network of schools that was found guilty of actually lying to students. Over 15,000 students have had their federal loans discharged as a result, according to the latest report from the Department of Education. It's crazy. Only direct loans, by the way, are eligible for discharge for fraud, so graduates with Perkins, unsubsidized Stafford, Parent Plus, Stafford, or federal consolidation loans aren't able to discharge their loans. Student loan lawyer Jay Fleischman said successful discharge can lead to not only a forgiveness of the unpaid balance, but also reimbursement for any money you've previously paid and removal of any negative information on your credit report related to the loan. It's a big deal. However, personal injury or civil rights claims, according to Fleischman, aren't grounds for having your federal student loans discharged. So this is important to note. Simply because a lawsuit has been filed against a college or university doesn't mean anything for your student loan debt. You personally need to look at your situation and go through the process if you believe you might be eligible for borrower defense to repayment. Students who want to discharge the loans must send some required information to the Department of Education, including these things: what laws the school violated, when you were a student, what degree program you were enrolled in, your contact information, and how the school's alleged fraud affected your decision to take out loans. More details on what you need to file a claim can be found at thecollegeinvestor.com. We have a link and everything else you need to know too. But after the claim has been submitted, the loans will go into deferment for up to 12 months, where they will still accrue interest, by the way. The process to discharge your loans is a serious legal matter. You may need extra help to go through it. You'll need to prove to the government not only that your claim meets the state standard, but also that the statute of limitations for bringing such claims have not expired. You'll also want to understand the implications of a discharge of your federal student loans on your taxes too, and whether you may be taxed on the forgiven debt. The IRS can see that as income. Borrower defense to repayment and your repayment plan. It's important to note this too, that borrower defensive repayment is an option to get your student loan debt discharged. It's not a student loan repayment plan that offers loan forgiveness. This is important because there are student aid companies and student loan assistance companies that are directly advertising to students who are attending Corinthian colleges, like we talked about earlier, and similar with the promise of student loan forgiveness. So if you're looking for help with your student loan debt, make sure you ask specifically what the company is going to do for you. In many instances, these companies are simply signing you up for an income-based repayment plan that includes forgiveness. And while that may work for the short term to help you afford your loan debt, it's not borrower defense to repayment, which may get your total loan debt discharged. Okay, so whenever you get help for your student loan debt, make sure you fully understand and research all the options for yourself. Nobody will care more about your situation and your money than you. Let's take a look at private student loan debt. Getting private loans discharged is a lot more difficult, as you can imagine. Every loan provider has a different policy, so contact your individual provider to see what theirs is. Some allow discharge if you're disabled and can't work. In that instance, you must be able to prove that you don't realistically earn enough to pay back your student loans, and there's no hope you ever will. A few borrowers have successfully discharged their student loans in bankruptcy, but that's still a rare circumstance. A lawyer specializing in private student loan matters might be able to say if your case is sound enough to go to court or not. Make sure to understand their fees before you take on a court case, though, so you don't end up worse off financially than you were before. That can happen sometimes. And let's take a look at some final thoughts. If you think you've been defrauded by your school and are buried in student loan debt as a result, this could be a good option to get help. The tough part in all of this is proving you've been defrauded. It's important to keep copies of everything with your school in writing and save brochures and other documents in a safe place. While many schools are honest and straightforward, most of them are, a few proactive steps can save a lot of heartbreak later on in life. If you're not quite sure where you need to start or what to do, consider hiring a CFA to help you with your student loans. We recommend the Student Loan Planner to help you put together a solid financial plan for your student loan debt. You can see that link to the Student Loan Planner at thecollegeinvestor.com, as well as links to all sorts of things we talked about today. Tons of resources on this topic to help you. Again, it's thecollegeinvestor.com. All you have to do is copy and paste the title of the podcast right into the search bar, and you'll find it. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and we'll talk to you again real soon.